So just taking a quick look at Vechain then on our daily time frame for another daily update on the channel. As we can see, Bitcoin absolutely dumping the markets down at the minute. Vechain itself looking pretty weak, to be honest, in general, going sideways in this range and not really making the headway to the upside that a few of the other larger cap altcoins were in the space. If you look at Bitcoin here, you can see we've just had a big red candle today so far. London Open here, coming into London Open, we've come down, swept out a bunch of liquidity below these levels here, as you can see. Getting a decent sweep down through a bunch of levels of previous levels of support here, sweeping out liquidity. We'll have to see how far this dump to the downside goes. But really, I think this is just Bitcoin basically reacting to the traditional markets having a dump back to the downside. But if we look here, you can see traditional markets looking pretty solid, to be honest, having a very decent comeback here. You can see we were just at all-time highs, we came down, but we're pretty much V-shaping back up out of that area. But if you look at Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin's dumped down and it's yet to return back to the upside here. It's been dropping overnight, but you can see going into open here, a big drop to the downside, and been looking quite weak right now. No real bounce back to the upside, as you can see, in comparison to our traditional markets here, which have fully recovered pretty much out of this already. Bitcoin looking quite weak, to be honest, and as I've said before, we could easily come back down into these areas down here. Sadly, we were starting to get some good momentum for our altcoin basket, but obviously one false move from Bitcoin and it can always just basically fuck up all the momentum for altcoins and dump us back down to the downside in the space of a split second, as you can see. And as a result, Vechain has been thoroughly crushed, to be honest, back down to this low. You can see we came up into this area multiple times for a test. We were looking quite good on Friday for a potential move up, weren't we? You can see we were right at this resistance again, looking quite bullish. The whole market looking pretty bullish, but as you can see over the weekend, we have been held back by Bitcoin, basically just stuck in this range, and then we've obviously come down here, as you can see, and pretty clearly and obviously ripped through all this support, grabbed liquidity. Now we've got to wait and see if we bounce or if we're going to continue to the downside. Right now, Bitcoin in a bit of a precarious spot, to be honest. I could easily see this coming back down towards these lows, and if that's the case, we're going to be seeing a dump for altcoins. Vechain's probably going to come down and break out to the downside of this range here. If Bitcoin continues to dump the market, Bitcoin opening up bearish this week, and we're going to have to wait and see how far we do drop. If we continue to drop, because obviously if Bitcoin keeps dropping, then Vechain is going to be highly correlated to that price action, as we always know. Right now, Vechain looking very weak, to be honest. You could easily see more downside here. Let's see what happens next with Bitcoin. As always, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Check back every day for daily updates and get some free money in the description below.